Hello and welcome to the show. We are Jim and Sam, and this is our Best of 2018 Part 1. So the reason we're doing this in two parts is because Part 1 will be our dramas, indies, comedies, and then we're going to do a Part 2 for all the big action movies that came out in the year. I felt like there was just too many good films, too many films that I really liked. I wanted to put on each that I felt like could make a top 10 with too many movies being left off that I wanted to talk about. So, two parts. Part 1, dramas, comedies, indies, essentially lower budget stuff. So, with that said, Sam, you just ready to get into our list of top 10, Part 1?
Yeah, let's go.
My number 10 of 2018 is Upgrade. If you did not see Upgrade,
about that movie.
Upgrade is an indie action film made by Lee Wennell. I believe I pronounced his name right. He is the writer and director of this film. He wrote Saw. He came up with James Wan. You may know James Wan, the director. He just did Aquaman. He did the Conjuring franchise. He also directed Saw, which Lee Wennell wrote. This is Lee Wennell's directorial debut. You may not know it. You probably saw Lee Wennell this year. He was the pilot in Aquaman when they were driving him to the Sahara. He's the one that turns around and goes, "What are you doing?" as they jump out of the plane.
Oh, really?
That's the guy that wrote and directed Upgrade. Upgrade was an awesome indie action film that was a throwback to the 80s. It's a twisted film from beginning to end. There's a lot of twists and turns in the film. It's very dark. The action is spectacular. The ending may not be for everybody, but I absolutely loved it. Sam, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is actually Blockers.
Really? No, it's completely okay. Blockers was great. I liked Blockers. John Cena was great.
I know, it was so funny. I totally enjoyed it. It was one of those films where you just could go in and have a good time. Like, it wasn't, you didn't leave with feeling anything except for that you just went in to have a good time. And that is why I chose it to be on my top 10.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think if we were
hysterical.
doing a top 10, if we didn't have two parts of the top 10, I don't think a movie like that would make the list.
Well, this is my list.
It's 100% worth talking about. And I do think it's worth putting on a top list of comedies, dramas.
I was having a very hard time between Blockers and Game Night. I wanted at least one of those on there because they were
I know which one I would choose. Not going to get into it.
Yeah, I think you would choose Game Night. But I remember going to Game Night and going to Blockers and leaving Blockers more excited about than Gamer.
It was very heartfelt. All right.
Which one?
Blockers. A lot of
Yeah, it
Blockers.
was. Okay.
All right. Number 9. So my number 9 is 8th Grade. Well, 8th Grade is Bo Burnham's directorial debut. He wrote and directed this. Mm-hmm. Literally just a super charming film from the beginning to the end. It's just a girl that's doing blogs on YouTube that's just going through 8th grade. I
still think the banana bit is the best bit.
Oh, that's so good.
Every movie ever.
It's so good. If you haven't seen 8th Grade, highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Bo Burnham. What's your number 9?
My number 9 was Love, Simon.
Oh, completely forgot we saw Love, Simon.
Love, Simon. It was so much fun.
I don't know if it would make my top 10. Maybe. I'm looking at the list. I don't know if I'd kick anything off for Love, Simon, but Love, Simon was great.
It was really good. It was very heartfelt. It was a hard one to watch, but it was also one that gave you kind of good feelings. Mm-hmm. It was like one of those in between where it was heartbreaking, but it was also something that you wanted to watch and you wanted to get into. And it was one of the age movies that I thought were coming of age movies that I thought were really spectacular. Yeah,
great throwback to the John Hughes films of the 80s. We haven't had a film like this in, I bet, quite a while. All right. So number 8. Mm-hmm. My number 8 is Anna and the Apocalypse.
Okay. I had such a hard time not putting this on my top 10 because
it didn't go?
That movie.
You didn't go?
No, it did not go on my top 10.
There was a serious lack of musicals this year. I wouldn't say a serious lack, because we did also have Mary Poppins. I loved Anna and the Apocalypse. I liked Mary Poppins. Anna and the Apocalypse to me was the best musical of the year.
Yeah. What was the other ones?
It's Mary Poppins. I don't know if there was other ones.
That didn't hit anything. Oh, man, I could almost change Blockers for that one.
Too late now.
I totally forgot about Anna and the Apocalypse. I put it on my list, but I forgot to put it on my list.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 was actually 3 Identical Strangers. I still remember how intense that movie was and how in the theater I was so in tune with that. And I was just sitting there watching this train wreck of a movie and all of the things that were happening, and every single moment of it was just so like on the edge of your seat, like you wanted to know more. And when it was over, I remember thinking, oh, that's it. I want to know more.
Yeah.
So good.
And to clarify, when you say train wreck, the movie itself is not a train wreck, but the story itself.
Okay. Yes. The story is a train wreck. The movie is not. It's not.
Because it is just like one
Can You
bad
Ever
thing
Forgive
after
Me?
another. It's really
just
good.
constant.
We were just talking about that at work in the break room. It was literally like what you said. It's like, it's one like, oh my God moment after like another, oh my God.
You're like,
oh my God.
Yeah, you're like, I can't believe that actually happened. Like these
Yeah.
things actually happen in the world, and that's heartbreaking. All right, number 7.
Number 7, mine is Searching. That is, oh, I loved Searching. If you have not seen Searching, it is a sort of a found footage film.
Mine's higher.
Told through the lens of a computer webcam. Mm-hmm. And so...
so good.
It's about a dad whose daughter goes missing, and then it's his quest to go find her through all of her social media things. And it's unique. I've never seen a found footage film like this before. It's also incredibly well acted. Everything from the bit players to the main actors to the graphics in the film, special effects, completely sold me. I was completely riveted by this movie.
Everything about that film was spectacular, and mine's actually higher in the list, and I won't say when.
What's your number 7?
My number 7 was 8th grade.
Okay.
That was actually a very hard spot because I was going between my 7 and my 6, and I couldn't figure it out, but I settled with 8th grade being 7th.
All right. Number 6. Mm-hmm. Mine was Black Klansman.
So was mine.
Really?
Yeah, Black Klansman's right here.
High five. Black Klansman, number 6.
I had to put it on there.
I really, really did like this movie. I talked to some people who, for whatever reason, didn't like it. I was completely enthralled with this movie. My only nitpick is maybe the last 2 minutes of the film might have been a little much for me.
Always a nitpick, Jim.
So, and even that, it's still number 6 on my top 10 part 1 list.
I think that's pretty good.
All the actors are fantastic.
Yeah.
I've felt the whole plot of it was very engaging and enthralling.
Completely.
Spike Lee back to form. One of my favorite Spike Lee films in a really long time. All right, so number 5?
Number 5.
For me, my number 5 was Green Book.
Ooh. My number 5 was Heart Beats Loud.
I was struggling with Heart Beats Loud. I did want to put it on my list, but I didn't know what I would take off for it. And it's a soft spot because that was our first review that we did. That's what kicked off our channel.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kicked off our channel, but it's also one of those films that I could watch many years to come constantly. It was really, the music is great. I still listen to the music on my runs. Like there's a specific song that I like to listen to in the beginning of my runs every once in a while that just like gets me going. And I just really like that movie. No,
it's a great movie, super heartfelt. Green Book for me was pretty much, it falls more on the comedic side, but it was comedic with heart.
Yeah.
And it really surprised me. It almost borderline floored me from beginning to end. The relationship with Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali as Dr. Don Shirley was fantastic. They're both really funny. I love the interplay between the two of them, the way that
Green Book's really good.
They grow on each other and that they make each other change.
Green Book was one of the movies that I was not expecting to be this good.
Yeah.
I wasn't really going in thinking that it was going to be a spectacular movie, but I came out really engaged in the movie, and I really enjoyed the movie, and I would love to see that movie again.
Yep. All right, number 4.
Number 4.
My number 4 is Won't You Be My Neighbor?
You killing me, Smalls. My number 4 was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised you liked it that much.
I did like it that much.
So Won't You Be My Neighbor was the Fred Rogers documentary. I guess more for me, it played on nostalgia a lot because I grew up watching Mr. Rogers, and the documentary was just on point. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know about Mr. Rogers that I found out in this film. And considering he was a public figure, watching a documentary and learning stuff about a person that you grew up with was quite spectacular.
There was a lot of things in that film that I had no idea that his life, he was kind of being in the eye so much and having his opinions shared. He was kind of picked on a lot. I never realized that, and that movie is really good, and I couldn't figure out if I wanted Three Identical Strangers or Won't You Be My Neighbors, and I know I could have put them both down, but there were other ones.
Yeah.
There were other ones. But Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm surprised it's not on your list.
It's good.
Well, I guess it's not over. Can't look at yours. Don't do it.
I like Bohemian Rhapsody a lot. It didn't wow me like the other films did. It was highly enjoyable, a very fun film.
I like the music.
It just didn't blow me away in the way that a lot of these other films were. It wasn't like I can't say that it moved me like Won't You Be My Neighbor did. I can't say that it made me laugh and feel the way Green Book did.
I don't know why it struck me so well, but it really did.
It's a great rock pick.
It's a really good rock pick. I think maybe it has something to do with the fact that I've never been a Queens fan. And so like seeing this film that basically it was like a 2-hour music video for Queens, I think for some reason it really resonated very well with me.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
All right, number 3.
Number 3.
All right, my number 3 is 3 Identical Strangers.
My number 3 is Green Book.
Yours went.
Mine was way higher. That's why I was like, mine definitely went higher. And your 3 Identical Strangers was way higher than mine.
Yeah, that's been top of my list for quite a while. Ever since we saw the movie, it's been one of my tops.
You know what? I think one thing that you did mention at some point this year is that you didn't realize how much you liked documentaries, because you always see me watching documentaries, and I'm always, especially health documentaries, but I really, and, you know, murder mystery documentaries, those are the ones that really captivate me. And I think now you're starting to open up to documentaries a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
So this one completely floored me. We talked about it earlier. It's one oh my god moment after another. If you haven't seen it, watch this film. Do really not read anything about it before you see it.
Yeah, that's true.
Go in as cold as possible.
And Green Book, go see it.
Yep.
Number 2.
My number 2 movie of the year. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Melissa McCarthy's film. Yes.
Wow, you know what? I didn't even think to put that one on my list. My number 2 is actually Searching.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I can't fault you for that. Can You Ever Forgive Me? We watched it just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Floored me then. As soon as I'm probably halfway through the movie, I was like, if this ends well, this is going to be one of my tops of the year. There's just no way around it. I'm not big into the Oscar picture scene. I still watch them. Very few of them actually floor me. Can You Ever Forgive Me is one of the ones that I hope gets nominated. I feel like this is one of the ones that I think
it's gonna. I don't think so.
I see it. I'm like, this deserves all the nominations it gets.
I think, unfortunately, it's gonna get overshadowed.
I hope it doesn't, but this is the one of those sort of like Oscar types, sort of like festival circuit types. This is the one that floored me this year. This is the one that the reason I watch these films is so I can find films like this.
Yeah.
So I'll watch 10 films and I'll come away with one that I really like. And this year's was Can You Ever Forgive Me? Floored me. Melissa McCarthy's great in it. The story is completely enthralling. Like you said in the review that we have up, it's like watching a car crash for 2 hours.
Totally.
Yeah.
You just know that the end is going to be bad. It's going to be a 10-car pileup right at the end.
All right. So number 1.
Number 1. This is going to be weird. I don't know. Go.
My number 1, I don't think it's any surprise if you've been watching the channel, Blind Spotting.
I forgot about that film. Oh my goodness.
My top of the year.
Shizzle. My number 1. Okay, you're going to laugh. My number 1 is Crazy Rich Asians.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's my favorite movie. And I think a big thing is that I watched it like 3 days ago and I was like, I forgot how much I loved this movie, but I actually really like it.
Wow, I'm surprised Crazy Rich Asians made your list.
Yeah.
It would be an honorable mention for me.
An honorable mention.
It would be, there's like just a couple honorable mentions films that I would like to make this list. I just feel like this list is my complete top 10.
Totally.
And there's just a few that fall outside of the top 10. Crazy Rich Asians, Game Night, Blockers.
You know what? Blind Spotting, I think if I had remembered that we had seen that and whatnot, it probably would have made somewhere on my 10. Maybe.
As soon as we saw it, it was my number 1. I think I said it when we reviewed it earlier in the year. I said this is my favorite movie of the year so far. Bought it on Blu-ray, watched it over the holiday break. Still my favorite. I was completely captivated from beginning to end.
I wonder if I had watched it with you if I would have remembered, because I wasn't there.
Possibly.
Oh, well.
All right.
That was great.
That was our top 10 of the year, part 1. What was your list? What's your top 10? Do you have dramas, comedies, indies that didn't make our list that's on your list? Comment below. Give us your list. Let us know. And as always, like and subscribe if you like what you saw here. We have part 2 coming next. That will be the action and big blockbuster films. Honestly, some of those probably would have made this list, but
there were
so many good films this year that I felt like 2 lists is okay. So
this is okay.
with that said, thank you for watching. We will see you next time. Check out part 2 coming up.